Sorry guys, but I'm gonna have to ask you to sit down and pay attention now.
In this video, we're going to rock tumble some petrified wood. Well, petrified wood is not wood, it's a fossil.
It's a fossil!
But now it's rock. Cool, eh? But one of the things you'll notice when you first pick it up is it's heavy. This would be really good stuff for a child to learn how to rock tumble. It's not expensive if you want to purchase it. From a rock shop, you probably can expect to pay about $5 a pound. You can also find it yourself. It's not rare.
It was living in a swamp around here about 10 million years ago.
It formed many, many years ago when the plant material, trees, was buried in deep sediment. Groundwater, which had other minerals in it, percolated into the wood and eventually replaced the wood fiber with the minerals.
All of the original wood is gone and has been replaced by minerals.
So the result is a fossil that exhibits the bark, wood, and cellular structure of the original tree.
Damn it, this guy is really pissing me off. I wish he'd just shut up or something.
We're gonna put some into our tumbler. Let's take a look.
Ooh, my rock polisher!
So here is my fossilized rock. Just chips and cut pieces.
You can only expect to get out what you put in, okay? You said put in.
And what I'm going to do is put these into a pound rock tumbler along with water and grit. And to start, stage one is a coarse grit known as 6090 coarse tumbling grit. And here's what it looks like. I want to load my tumbler up to about 2/3 full and then add, usually you can get away with 1 tablespoon per pound of rock. I will add fluid and you come just below the level of the rock. You don't want them to be swimming in it and you don't want it to be too dry. Then we button it up and start it tumbling.
Excuse me, sir. Did you know that, nobody here is listening to you?
So getting serious for a moment, we're still in step one. There's my slurry, and here's a few rocks that I've pulled out to see how we're doing. They're starting to round, but really they need more time. And wet will show what they may look like when they're done polishing. Let's get these rocks back into the tumbler. We'll add some more of the coarse tumbling grit, knowing that in the next couple of weeks it'll break down into medium tumbling grit just as it wears itself down in the polishing action in the tumbler. It'll eventually then become fine tumbling grit. What that means is we can actually polish rocks in a 2-step process. Takes a little bit longer. It's not quite as effective as recharging the tumbler with new grits, but I think it'd be fun. Well, the 2-step process, using only 6090 grit to do the grinding and rounding of the stones, takes forever. It's been more than 12 weeks. So let's dump the rocks out and get them into polish. And here are the rocks. So some, like that one, need actually more time. So again, you can do it this way, just in a two-step, but it really is not the best. There is a reason that people do a four-step. That one got damaged. I'm going to tumble it anyway. I'm going to polish it anyway and see how it turns out. There's the last of the rocks. In you go. Now you can see that it's not, if you look inside the tumbler, it's not at half. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want any more breakage to happen, I've got a pack of tumbler beads. See that? It'll add cushioning between the beads and give me just a little more volume. There we go, there's half. The polish will be alumina, tumbler polish. Now you can actually reuse polish, I don't, but there is a methodology to reuse it. Which is kind of good to know, eh? If you want to do it on the cheap. And then lastly, I've got a box of just baking soda. And in its own right, baking soda is a polish, but what it does do as well in this application is it makes the slurry thicker. Again, you get less bumpage. So water added just below the level of the rocks. Button this bad boy back up and get it to rocking and a rolling on the tumbler. Minimum probably a week. Perhaps it wouldn't hurt to do it 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks. Well, I'm done polishing, so we're now at the part of the process where it's either going to be ooh ah or ooh. So let's, with no further ado, look at these rocks, get them burnishing, and then do a final inspection of these bad boys. Clean this out. The little white things are plastic beads that I used just to keep things cushioned. Well, they look better. So that is wet. Let's look at them dry. And there they are dry. If I rub them a bit on a cloth, let me just do it off camera, they get a bit shinier if they get buffed, so that means burnishing will likely help. So, let's try burnishing. Come on. Maybe it's my snap. Nope. I guess I'm going to have to do some work. Well, and I've got a can of Snow Gone, which I'm going to spray after this video. Maybe end winter. For burnishing, I use ivory soap. So there's my rocks, beads, and water. Actually, the other thing you should notice is the beads float. So if you want to strain them off, it's pretty easy. A little tip I got from one of the fellow YouTubers is rather than use a knife to grate the soap, use a cheese grater. There we go. Let's get these things back on the tumbler. See you in a bit. Is it working? 3 hours later. And we're done burnishing. Let's rinse them off. See what we got. So there we go, the rock's wet. Beads are still in there, of course. The real test will be dry, so let me dry them off, separate them from the beads, and show you the final result. And we're done. You know, if anybody has a good suggestion on how I can film rocks other than taking handfuls and showing you, I'd really appreciate it. This seems to be, I don't know what to call it, a little bit bush league. Look at the painted surface on that. What a pretty, pretty rock. That one is almost translucent. No, I guess not. So some of them that had the rough edges that we saw before in the earlier video actually turned out not horrible. So here's the wee ones. I had fun, a lot of fun making this video. Hope you liked it. Hope you liked the rocks. We'll do it again real soon. Thanks so much for watching. There's the problem. The instructions clearly say, throw at groundhog. There you go. Into winter.